Welcome to the Morning Slice.
Hello, and welcome to the Morning Slice. This is your host, Brianna McNerney. Today, I am thrilled to have Amber Grossman on the podcast. I'm so excited that she made the time to come and talk to me. Amber is the creator behind the Black Girls Gardening account on Instagram, and she is releasing a book of the same name. I was so eager to get her on the podcast for very selfish reasons, even more so than the usual. I always love getting to know my guests on a new level by having them on and just being able to chat for a couple hours. But with Amber, we've been talking in like Instagram DMs for some time now, and I just find what she has accomplished to be so inspiring. What she's created with not only Black Girls Gardening, but the flower art that she creates is absolutely gorgeous. I love having a piece in my home. I would love more someday. Actually, I guess I have multiple pieces from her and I've given them as gifts, and they're just excellent, so gorgeous. But yeah, I can't wait to get to know Amber better and to take you along for the ride. So let's just dive right into it. I'll see you on the other side. Hey, Amber. Welcome to the Morning Slice. I'm so happy to have you here.
I am so excited to be here.
Yay. So I always like to ask people before we get into the meat of it, like something about something that's really close to their heart. Can you tell us a story about your cat, that specifically the cat, is it Beep?
Yes, it's a bebop. So bebop, and then it's beep for short because his full name is Bebop because he be bebopping around town. But we call him Beep. He's cute. He's fun. He is a stray cat. Well, he's ours now, but he started as a stray cat. In the neighborhood. And what is the story you wanted to know? Did you just want to know about him?
Yeah, I mean, tell me all the things. Tell me about the cat. Tell me how you got him. I feel like you also
Okay.
tell the story of his dad in the neighborhood too.
Oh yeah, his dad be tearing him up. So yeah, so he just showed up one day and he was I don't know, probably a couple months old at that point. And the neighbor actually came over to me and like asked me about him or whatever. And he's like, yeah, he's just been hanging out at my house, like, whatever. I was like, he's hanging out at my house too, like. So we're like, okay, so he's just a stray. Um, but as time went on, he was always hanging out and stuff, and it got winter time, so we were like, we want to bring him inside. And so got him fixed, bring him in, and now we're calling him ours. This is our little man. But little man has a dad in the neighborhood, which is like 3 times his size. And well, we call him dad. I don't know if it is actually his dad. It looks just like him, so I feel like it is. The neighbor says that it's another one of our other neighbors' cats, but that like goes out during the day. But I was like, I don't know. I don't know. This just feels like Beep's dad. But they Beep and Dad do not get along. They just really beef it out. Anytime Dad sees Beep, he is on him. He'll spot him from over in the neighbor's house and he comes sprinting across the yard, like tearing him up. So one day I'm sitting in the kitchen and I just hear like, "Meow," like going, all these cat noises going so hard. And I kick open the door and they're scrapping in the driveway. Like, I have to go out there, kick the dad cat, like, sorry, buddy, love cats, but can't be tearing up my cat.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's been probably a couple months since I've seen him. So I'm not really sure what happened. But Beep is kind of his size now. He's like an adult cat. So I don't know if he's like holding the block down out there or what now, but
Mm.
Haven't seen dad.
Interesting.
Not a clue. Yeah, not really sure what happened to him.
It sounds like Beep won this round.
That's what I'm thinking. I was like, I think he got enough fights in, enough scraps where like he's just not coming on this block anymore. I don't know. Or he's like, I'm gonna stay inside. I don't know. But Beeb is now his size, so
That's incredible. And
yeah.
how does he get along with your other cat? Because you had another cat that you brought in, right? They
Yes.
can like
Benny. And they're not the best friends.
still not.
They tolerate each other, but Beep just comes in and he swats him in the butt. Like anytime Benny is just like walking by, whatever, Beep just like gives him a little pat on the butt and just like runs the other way. And then when Benny finally is like had enough, he's like, stop hitting me and like goes after him. He like Beep will hiss and like duck in the corner.
Oh,
So he's like, he starts it and then doesn't want to really follow through with Benny at all. But Benny's not he's not playing around. He's not trying to play with him at all. He's like, "Let's fight or leave me alone."
well, and also like this is my house, dude.
Right. Like he was here first and then Beep came in, so he tolerated him in the beginning, like he let him kind of swat him and like didn't do anything. He just like kind of cower off to the side, but now he's like, "All right, I've had enough. You're like my size." And he'll just like tackle him. It'll be like the middle of the night. We hear them like going at it. I'm just like, "All right, well."
I hope it doesn't.
I mean, I know that Beep hit him, swat him in the butt, so it's fair game.
Oh my gosh. Well, now since we've talked about both the cat babies, I feel like we have to give Dayla some airtime.
Oh, yeah. Little Day. Oh, she's getting old now. But yeah, I have a pit bull, Dayla. She is 8 years old, and we found her in the streets of Wilmington. Um, when Kyle worked at the hotel, she was just running through the parking lot, and this was in Mayfair, which is like a well-off area in Wilmington. But anyways, she was just running through the parking lot and he found her and we immediately took her home. We're like, yeah, well, we put flyers up and like posted all over everywhere, like if anybody was missing her. But we're like, yeah, we're gonna take her home. We'll like, watch after her and stuff. And yeah, we've been with her for 8 years. And she is amazing. Like she is so sweet. She loves both of the cats. Her and Benny are besties, and then her and Beep are besties, but it's not like a three. They're not all hanging out. It's like one or the other.
Aw.
Um, but yeah, and then obviously she did her ACL. She had her surgery in the beginning of this year when she tore her ACL in her back leg. And she's recovered really well from that. So we're we're really happy with her, how everything's going with her. She's super sweet. Couldn't ask for a better dog.
Yeah, she seems really sweet. Well, and since we're talking about the ACL surgery and such a common thing apparently that happens with pit bulls, since you've just come through this experience, any tips for anyone listening who might be going through the same thing?
Yeah. So pit bulls, which I didn't know, it is very common for them to tear their ACL. They are just really athletic dogs, and these tears happen more in bigger dogs than they do smaller dogs. So if you have a smaller dog, it's not that big of an issue. Also, if they do tear it in a smaller dog, they said they usually can repair it by itself without having to go through that surgery. But I would recommend giving glucosamine because that's for joints and stuff like that. The vet recommended that from, as young as you can give it to them. That just helps a lot with the joints and um, to prevent, having to pay $4,000 for a surgery like this. But yeah, and she just tore it running in the front. It wasn't like we were not doing anything crazy. This was from her just running and playing in the front yard. So, I mean, this can happen to anybody's dog, anybody's dog anytime. Um, but other than that, I mean, there's not much you can't really limit your dog from wanting to play and like, do that sort of thing. So there's not a whole lot you can do in that aspect, but going through it, it's just a lot of therapy, making sure you move their leg constantly, doing little walks and things like that. But it's about a 3 month, typically, if your dog's doing well, about a 3 month recovery um, process. And that's with them not doing much activity at all. So that was the hardest part is no running, no long walks, no doing anything for 3 months for a pit bull who's middle aged.
You must have been just like itching to get out by the time you
Yeah. So it was a lot of toys and treats and that sort of thing. But yeah, as soon as she could get out and start walking, we were out and walking. But yeah, it's not a fun process at all. But she recovered really well, and I mean, I think it's about finding the right vet in your area because here in Wilmington there was only like 5 vets that perform that surgery. So, doing your research if you do happen to come across, which I hope nobody ever has to
I
has to
know
deal with
that's
that. But
not
if
what
you do some research because pricing and all that stuff is different with different vets and stuff. But yeah, overall, very happy. She's doing very good. She is on her, I think, 6 or 7 months now. So
um, you're clearly such a great pet mom. It just like oozes out of you the way that you talk about your pets. And
oh,
I want to tell the listeners too, like, you're gonna have to tolerate me because I feel like this is Amber and I just like meeting each other for the first time too. Like, I've been in her DMs for probably years at this point. And I'm so excited to finally be like face to face with you, being able to like get to know each other a little bit better. So
yeah.
start like, I don't know.
I was gonna say it's funny because I've never met you, but I've met your mom. Remember, I went to
Really?
like New York. Yeah, I went to New York for a wedding in a couple years ago, and
Yeah.
yeah, she was there, and I didn't know her like anything, and she came up to me and she's like, "You're Amber." Like she was like introduced herself, and I was like, I could tell you were gonna be sweet. I was like, if your mom is like this and I don't even know her, I was like, okay, she's gonna be so sweet.
You know, it's funny because I feel like growing up, we don't ever want to become like our parents, but I do have a lot of mom qualities
Yeah.
just all around. Like I'm a little, probably still a mini, mini mom, and there are a lot worse things to be.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
But thanks. I'm
for
glad
sure.
you had a good meeting with her.
Yeah. I was like, this is funny. It's just like it really is such a small world, like when you think about it. I'm like, I come up here for a wedding, haven't been in town in years, and then meet your mom, and it was like shortly after we had we were talking, so I was like, oh, this is like I felt like I was like meeting you, but it was like through your mom.
Sweet. And we are like from a pretty small town. So Amber and I kind of share a hometown, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that later because I have all kinds of like questions and things I want to talk about when it comes to that. But I would
Oh
love
yeah.
to know. So I'm so curious. You started this account called Black Girls Gardening on Instagram. And this is like
Yes.
kind of like an origin story sort of a thing for you, right? Like this is what kicked off a lot of different creative projects for you. Am I understanding this right?
Yes,
I would love to
for sure.
hear like how that came about and like what, because I feel like it's a big question because I know that you also were working full time for a while you started that. And are you done
Yep.
days now? Now you're like
No, I do work
Good.
full time too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And that's
I took like a break for a while, but I do still work full time. And then I do the Black Girls Gardening, and then I also do the pressed wildflower, which is all, but yeah, a
where do
little
you
bit.
find the time? I'm like, so tell us everything. Ramble on this.
um, so Black Girls Gardening, I started in, geez, when was that? 2019. And that was solely, I, we bought our house in 2017. And at that time, once we bought our house, I was like, I need to get in the garden. I want a garden. I want to plant stuff. My grandparents growing up, they had always had a garden. They lived in an acre property right outside of town. And I was like, this is, my dream. So when I had land and stuff, I was like, yeah, I really just want to dive into that. And so in 2017, 2018, I was just gardening, growing stuff, just having fun with it. And 2019, I was like just on Instagram and scrolling and just kind of looking for more, I don't know, inspiration or like, other people around that were gardening. Just, what you go to social media for. You're just looking for something.
Yeah.
And as I was going to a lot of the gardening websites and catalogs, or even when I would go to order seeds, it was just like a lot of the same people, and just, I don't know, the same pretty much layout and everything. And it was just like a lot of and older white women and men, which is fine. Loved that. But I wasn't seeing a lot of like mixed women, black women, any women of like color or anything. So it made me just kind of want to start something. Coming from a small town, obviously Corning. And for those who do not know where Corning is, it sits about 20 minutes over the PA border. So for a little idea of diversity there, not a lot, not a lot. So when I had the opportunity to create a page and it was around gardening and, that sort of thing, I focused on color. I wanted to highlight Black women, mixed women like myself, and kind of give a voice to those women as well, so that you see them when you're scrolling and you see what they're doing in the garden. So I don't know. I just wanted to create something that just felt a little bit different at the time. And then COVID hit in 2020. So everybody was gardening, it was just like the peak of all of that. So it really, Black Girls Gardening rocketed. That was like it so happened I started it like 6 or 7 months prior to COVID, but it was the prime time and it just kind of peaked and just went from there, and it just started this community, and I was interacting with all these women, and it was just so inspiring. I'm trying different things in my garden now and growing different things and trying to, you know, rearrange my garden. Like, oh, I'm inspired. Like now I'm like, okay, I really am liking, I love what I'm seeing. So I don't know. It it wasn't supposed to be what it was. I wanted something, just a little community, just like some, and it just kind of skyrocketed and it turned into this big thing, and it was beautiful and I love it, and I love connecting with these women it's all over the world. So it I don't know, it just has been inspiring for me. I feel like other people looked at it as like a inspiring platform, but it really inspired me to want to do more. And then that's where I started the pressed wildflower. So, um, as I was growing flowers and growing things, I was like, I could maybe do something with these, or, preserving things. And then that's how I got into that, and making frames and just resin pieces and candle. And I just kind of took off. It was a creative outlet for kind of where my gardening and all that stuff, and now I can create and make things out of it. And so it was just kind of, I don't know, it just was one thing after another. And now I do a lot of my pressed flower art. Honestly, that's majority of the stuff I do now. Obviously, I wrote the book and everything for Black Girls Gardening, and that is a big piece of that. But I don't know. I love making art. I love creating something from the stuff that I grow and that sort of thing. So it's all kind of tying in together now that feels like just this like full circle, like, holy shit, Amber, what were you doing a few years ago? You had an idea in this vision, and then now 5 years later, I have a book that's coming out in March and about gardening and all of these women that inspired me in the garden. And now I'm doing pop-up markets and going out, and people want my art in their stores, and I'm shipping off art, to all over places in the world. So I don't know. I took a vision and I rolled with it, and it's, years later, and it's crazy. It truly is crazy. But it's exciting. I'm super excited. It still doesn't feel real. Still soaking it in. But yeah.
I feel like there are a million there this is a thing that happens with me. It's like people talk and then my brain goes in a million different directions of things I want to ask.
Yeah.
But I want to say your art is gorgeous. I have one of your pieces hanging above my kitchen sink actually, which is like probably not the most ideal place for it, but I like doing dishes. So having it hanging there like makes me happy when I do
Oh,
the dishes. Uh,
yeah.
and maybe someday I'll have like a window, but actually I don't think I would want it by a window, right? Because if direct sunlight hits it, it fades. The
Yeah.
so
But I will tell you, I tell all of my friends that, and then I go to all my friends' house, and they all have their frames in the window. I'm like, "Girl, did you listen to me?" And they're like, "I'm sorry, Amber. I can't." And like, do what you want. I was just saying, I'm just saying that sun will make them fade. All my friends, every single I go and I'm like, "Okay, cool."
well, because they do, I can like they look beautiful in a window
Yeah,
sunlight.
they do.
But I am listening, so
Yeah.
gold star to me.
Yeah.
Well, and I just think it's so incredible that, yeah, you had an idea, you took it, and it's clear that the timing of everything worked out just like so well in your favor, and one thing has led to another. Are you telling me that you talk about your press flower art process in the book in Black Girls Gardening? Did I understand?
No, I'm not. It'll be mentioned in there that I do the pressed wildflower, but no. The book is strictly 31 stories. It's my story on how I got started gardening. So, for those who want to know the background, that is really where the meat and potatoes is. That's where my story, where I grew up, all of that will be in there. And then it's stories from 31 women that I compiled. And these are women that shared tagged me in Black Girls Gardening that have been a part of the community for years, like, and that I've been inspired by. And so I did research, found the ones that I was just like really inspired by them. So they, it's telling their story, how they got into gardening. Where did this passion, stem for them? Is it because there's so many people who, never have gardened before, or they didn't grow up gardening. It wasn't like something like where I say my grandparents had a garden. It's kind of something I saw. Um, some people never see that, So it's like, I am how did you get into it if you're not like somebody who was around it? So some of the stories, are based on people who hated gardening when they were younger, and now all of a sudden it's like a huge, they own storefronts, or they are running businesses or doing community garden, they have found a passion in it. And so those are some of the stories. It's gardening with kids, it's garden to take, bringing your meals in. What are these girls doing? Canning and cooking with their garden harvest. It flower gardens, community gardening, how you can get into that, or how these women got into that and are, doing this fully in their community, which is really, I didn't know a lot about it, community gardens before I started this book. And it's something that I'm like, holy crap, like this is such a beautiful thing to have, and I feel like every community needs these community gardens, and not enough people know about them. So it gives a little bit of insight on those. It's just like, and then there's a lot of tips, just gardening tips and stuff for beginners and stuff like that. So it's just like it has a bunch of everything, and it's super beautiful. I finally have the first copy. And so I'm so excited.
Congratulations. Oh my God. That is so
Yeah,
gorgeous. You got it.
links in my website.
I'll
Get
add a
on
link
there.
in the notes for the episode too,
Yeah,
so you can go and find it real easy there. But everybody needs the book. And
need it.
I'm so excited to read it. And it sounds like the community aspect of your experience has been so significant, like having people reach out to you with their own experiences. And I mean, yeah, I'm like, what even is my question here? Like, you weren't, I mean, so I the account has grown to be so big. I was looking at it yesterday, just kind of trying to prepare myself a little bit for our conversation, and you've grown up to almost 100,000 followers now. I know you
Hmm.
mentioned in either conversations or like on your Instagram stories or whatever that you've even been like recognized by people for your account, which is so
Yeah.
cool. But I think for me, it like I have all these questions as I can see the positive side of having all this community growing, and like that's so wonderful. And then like, is there a part of you that like has a hard time with all of the visibility? I don't know that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about
Um,
it? I want to talk about both. Like, we got to talk about the good and the bad, you know?
yes. Um, so in the beginning, during COVID especially, um, it was a lot. I mean, I'm getting, and I think a lot of people when they seen Black Girls Gardening, I don't know, they assumed it was more than one person, that runs the account and is answering and is trying to like communicate and do everything. It's just me. It literally was just me just like creating an account. And so I was like loving it. But then you hit a point where you're like, I can't get to all these messages. Or, I just can't respond to all the comments that were under the photos. Or um just you're almost like you built this community and then you're like, I don't even have the time to like respond to them or like get back to them. And now I was like feeling guilty, like, so there was uh I did feel bad because I'm like trying to build something and make it like, yeah, share and tag and like everything, and then I was like, shoot, I can't even respond or like say things to you guys. And so it was a bit overwhelming, for sure, for a while. But you kind of adapt to it, and I think a lot of people now know that it is just me, so it's been a lot easier. Instagram has also sucked because it's taken away like the hashtags that, not taking them away, but they're not like what they used to be when people hashtag and like share things. So it makes it harder for me to find the women that are like sharing and like tagging me and stuff. So now it's like a complete opposite, where before it was so overwhelming with trying to reach and get all of these people. Now Instagram has changed, so now I am trying to find the people through, like, looking. I mean, they're still tagging and it's still active, but it's like now I have to do all this extra work to, like, try to find people who were just trying to find me or who are just trying to share stuff, to the tag Black Girls Gardening. So, it has been difficult, like, little flip-flop transition, and also, social media now isn't the same as it was, a couple years ago. So I feel like we, as people who run businesses and run these accounts, you have to find other avenues too to reach new people and that sort of thing. And me, girl, I am tired. I do not wanna make any more accounts. I do not wanna be on any more platforms, and it's just like, you gotta be on TikTok, you gotta be on Instagram, you gotta be on it's just like all these things, and it does get a bit overwhelming sometimes. So, I did these past couple months, especially with the book, I slowed down a bit just posting and as active. I will get back into it, but I did have to take, like, a little bit of a break and just, like, readjust. Sometimes you just gotta, like, realign what your message is and what you actually wanna do with what you have, and so that's where I'm at right now, is, like, figuring out the next step so that when the book releases, it's we're building still a community, and now everybody knows about these women, but I still want to find all the other women that, are still out there that are unseen and unheard. So I'm hoping that we can reach, more people as the book comes out
Mhm.
and they learn more about it.
That is so smart. I feel like to take the time to take a step back, and I can only imagine if it were me in your shoes and I'm like, all of these things are changing. This is getting a lot harder to even just find the people who are actively trying to connect with me. That's wild. I have questions about that. Like, let's talk
Yeah.
more about what you're noticing on Instagram so that your wisdom can help all of us. But
Yeah.
like, I just think it's so important, especially with the energy that you created the thing in. Like, it was just an idea that you had, an inspired action that you took and you ran with it, and the timing was perfect. And it sounds like it grew and it hit a critical mass at some point that you were like, this is even bigger than I can, like, contain at this point.
Right. Yeah.
And then it started getting difficult, more so, especially it sounds like with the changes of the way that the changes in social media, which I'm sure is
Yeah.
like a laundry list of things like that. So I just think it's so smart to take the time to step back and like realign and figure out, like, you got to get that energy back behind it if
Right.
to continue growing in a
Right.
nice, organic, like, heartfelt, inspired way that started it. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. Because I feel like a lot
Thanks.
of people, myself included, so I can be so stubborn. Like, I'll describe myself sometimes like a dog with a bone. If I have like an idea or something I've decided, like, this is what we're doing, and it could stop working. And I'm just like, no,
Right.
like,
You're like, no, this
like,
this is
it's
the
not gonna
idea.
work.
We're going through.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, girl, like, just set down the phone, like, go take a look at the lake,
Right.
and maybe we'll come back to it. But
Yeah. No, it is difficult to, like, realize that you have to make that change to, like, grow and keep, your message out there. But yeah, I mean, it is difficult, but there's always going to be a community and a place for Black women in the garden, like, regardless if a Black girls gardening ended today, like, there's now going to be a book, there's going to be something physical that women can have, to relate to. And I think that out of anything that I could have done with Black Girls Gardening, creating that physical something that can be passed down. Like, this is something I can pass down, but this is something all 31 of these women can give to their family, their kids, and learn firsthand from what they told me and everything, their story. And so, you know, no matter what social media does, and that's why it's important, especially for people who focus so much on social media as like their one sole income and like that sort of thing. It is it just always is changing. So it can't be. I used to make a lot of money off of Instagram, just posting and doing that sort of thing. Does that happen anymore? No. And does that happen for a lot of the people who probably quit their 8 to 5s to do content? No. So you got to change and kind of like figure out what can I do that'll get my message out and still make you comfortable. Obviously my goal, and if you are anybody out there is listening who's an author who has ever wrote anything, you're not getting rich. Like writing a book does not get you rich. So whoever is saying that or anything, not a thing. Um this is solely a project that I did to get my message out. This is to be passed down. This wasn't a quick money. Amber's trying to get money from and just like live. Like, no, this is just something, a project I wanted that I probably would have said no to a couple years ago with my anxiety and all of that stuff. I would have been like, no, I could never do this. But I was just like, took up in the moment. I was like, yeah, I'll never get this opportunity again. Boom, made it happen. And sometimes you just got to do that. You just got to just bite it and just do it because it the chances don't always come. So,
Yeah, that's something that I'm really hearing about you as a person is that you roll with what comes, which is
yeah.
such an excellent quality, like especially if something you deal with is anxiety, which I'm sure I know I can relate to. I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to is like it's easy to get in an overthinking place about the things that come. Like, that's part of why I get excited to talk to you about how you built this in the first place, is because I'm sure that there are people out there who have ideas that
Mhm.
just kind of get caught in that cycle of like, well, but what if this and what if that? And then I'm going to have to do this and that. And, it's just like, sometimes you just have to take what's right in front of you and roll with it. And it sounds like you're
Yeah.
really excellent at doing that and doing it quick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting better. I wouldn't have like I said a couple years ago, I just didn't take the chances and I feel like missed opportunities. And now that I'm older and we don't have all the time in the world. So it's important when you do get something big or an opportunity where you feel like you can make a difference or whatever, like take it.
Mhm.
What's the worst that can happen? I sell 0 copies of a book, like that. Okay. I still at least did something that I thought was amazing. All these women thought was amazing, my family. So that was enough for me to be like, I'm going to do it. But in the long term, it is going to be an amazing thing for so many people. So whatever idea and thing that you think you can't do, like you can definitely do it. Cause if you would have told me I would have wrote a book even 4 years ago, absolutely not. Like absolutely not. Like no, no, there would have been no chance. So what the difference is in just a couple years and what you can do is really crazy. Like even doing pop-up markets, like that was so out of my comfort zone, like being face to face in the public and like selling. I was nervous and I was asked to do it a bunch and I said no, I was just like, no, like, I don't want to do that. And then I finally was just like, you know what? Let me do one. Now it's my favorite thing to go do. Like,
Mhm.
if anybody asks, I'm like trying to get into like it's just, you just got to try it. And if you don't like it, like, you never have to do it again.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't like doing them, never have to do it again. But it's worth, at this point, just going for it and trying and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and so I wonder, like, if you have any tips for when you're, about to do something that you're scared about or you don't want to do, or you're like uncomfortable with it. Like, is there anything that you do or tell yourself to get get yourself moving on it?
Well, a lot of time not for you because, we talk a lot, but like, and companies or people who reach out to me, I'll be like, I'll never see them again, or I'll never talk to them, or like, if this goes to shit, never have to talk to them again, or that's what I'll be like. So what's the worst? I'm like, I can act a fool, whatever, it's fine. Like, never have to see him. And I feel like putting that in my mind was just like, okay, like, just be you, just like, and the more that I just be myself and I feel like now that, I am on medication and stuff for my anxiety and stuff, I am the most myself that I have been able to be. Um, and I think that is really what's helping me to just go for my full potential, and anything that makes me uncomfortable or where I'm like, it's like starting to give me anxiety, I just don't do it. Or I wait until I'm like, okay, is this something I actually want to do? Because, I don't want to feel those feelings if I don't need to. Like, I'm too old. I don't need to go through those emotions. So, you know, you don't you don't need to feel, I don't know, like you don't need to feel mm, what am I trying to say? I don't even know how to say it.
I'm sure I feel like the best things are that way, that it's like a concept that you can't put your words quite to.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I have a question I can ask, and maybe that'll help us get there.
Yeah.
Because I know that a lot of people I work with, they come to me like with medication being something that is very present for them. I know that I've dealt with this, like even recently postpartum with my son, I went through like postpartum depression and all sorts of things. And I didn't end up taking any medication, but I heavily considered it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. But I know a lot of people come to me kind of like making that decision. Either they are going to take or thinking about it and they're not sure that they want to, or they're on medication and they're not sure that they want to be on it. And I guess one thing I'm noticing about what you're saying that I love is that it has helped you to feel more like yourself. I feel like that's
Yeah.
the biggest fear that I have or hear from people around that, is that it's going to take me away. It's going to take things
Right.
that like make me away. Um, but I wonder if you're comfortable sharing any of your like process around that, like what it was like to make that decision.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was just hitting rock bottom. I didn't grow up really with anxiety. It was a really new feeling, or like depression. I remember like my friend telling me she was depressed. I was like, "Uh, what happened?" Like I just felt like there always had to be a reason if you were like feeling like it wasn't a thing I was familiar with. And and a few years ago, I mean, right after COVID, I don't know if it was like I really don't know, but it was it hit, and my anxiety and depression was just was at an all-time low. I mean, just, like, crying every day. Just I could not control myself, and it was just I knew that wasn't me, and so I was like, "I need to go to therapy." So and therapy was another thing that I did when my parents got a divorce when I was younger. So I was thir 12, 13, and it was a very kid therapy. So it was like drawings and that sort of thing. So I really didn't have good ties with therapy, like it wasn't like it ever helped me back then. Um so but when I was at my rock bottom, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try whatever, I gotta try whatever. So therapy was the first thing where I was like, let me go back and see how this helps. And that helped a bunch. And that's who, she recommended like medication if that was something, I'd be willing to do. And I was the person who was like, I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to change my body and like that. I just didn't want to get addicted pretty much to anything. So I'm like on a very low dose, medication, but when I say it's just night and day of I just feel good. Like I can make rational decisions. I can think. I'm not just like when something happens, I don't just shut down. I can process through and talk about it now. Which was always like my big issue of shutting down.
Mm.
Um so my experience with medicine has been great. I know some people it does like cause them not to feel, that like themselves and stuff. But I don't know if it's my low dose or like whatever. It's just enough to like just give me not that anxiety anymore that I had. Like, I, even if I were to do this, my heart would be like thumping out of my chest. I'd be like sweaty and shaky. And it, it was just, I don't know, it was so bad. And now it just like, you still get anxiety and you still get like little waves and stuff, but it's tolerable. It's like, that's just this is what I'm supposed to feel like, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I love to kind of bring it back to I think what you were gonna say before when we lost the thread was like, I love how you described if something is giving you that feeling of anxiety, especially now that you have it well managed, it's like, I don't have to feel that. Like, I don't have to put myself through that. And I feel like there's this message in like, I don't know if it's in personal development or just like, our culture, our like capitalist, like patriarchal thing we've got going on here. But like, if you're afraid of something, you should do it. Like you should definitely like go do the things that you're afraid of, get out of your comfort zone. And I feel like there is value, like you're saying, to doing the pop-ups or coming on here. I'm so grateful that you're here.
Right,
But,
yeah,
like, not you don't always have to put yourself into the fire of feeling, like, awful just because,
right.
you can say no to something just simply to save yourself the
Because
turmoil.
right. Yeah, and I think we have a lot of pressure that we feel like we have to impress people and, like, make people feel good because it makes us feel good, but, like, sometimes doing certain things just makes us feel worse. So, it's okay to say no. It's okay to not, you know? And I'm learning that because 'cause I've always been kind of like a not a people pleaser, but you wanna do well. You want people to know you're doing well and that sort of thing. So, you kinda leave out the "I'm fucking losing it" part. And, you know, so, um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel so much better now, and I know a lot of people do have a negative look on medication, and I definitely was right there. Like felt the exact same, but to know how it makes me feel and like now I just feel good. It's not I felt worse when I wasn't on it, so, like this is how it's supposed to be
Is this
for
the
me.
first thing that you tried in terms of medication? Like, did you have to try different things?
I tried different yeah, this is the 3rd. So, yeah, it don't always, like I said, it don't always work out. Um, and there's side effect but that is also, I think, some people, how you were saying where you're like a dog with a bone in your mouth. Like some people don't want to make the change. So they'll get on a medication. It's not working, but they stay on the medication because they don't want to switch to something else. But when I felt like this medication is working, but there's a couple little side effects that I was just like, okay, this doesn't feel right. And this isn't really. And I went to the doctor, mentioned those, switched it, seen, and that's sometimes what you have to do. I mean, if you don't address your concerns and make them known, nobody knows. So you have to just if you're feeling certain side effects and stuff because there are those with any medication, it's just a simple adjustment. You could go less dosage, whatever. But I'm heavy for it now. Like I really was against it. I don't want to be addicted to something or, when I come from a family of addiction and that sort of thing. But it's not, to me, it's not a bad thing. It's what's helping me and making me more comfortable to do the things I want to do. So, and it's making me happier. So, in the long run, it's good for me, whatever.
So glad, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta find what works for you, and I'm glad that you went through the process of finding the right thing for you, because I feel like that
Yeah.
holds so many people back. I mean, whether it's a medication that works or the providers that are right for you, like, it
Right.
takes some persistence to really,
Yeah.
you know.
Because it's the same with therapy too. You're not always going to get a great therapy, and a lot of people have a bad look on it because they're like, I mean, the therapist wasn't all that great, and I do know I had a great lady. And so, again, I got really lucky there. But I know people who've gone through several, and, it's just like, these all, they're not relating. But again, I found a black therapist. You gotta find the people, do your research and find people that kind of connect with you. And I feel like that's, the best thing that we can do. Research, figure out what you're going through, find somebody who can, who's along those lines with you. And that's what I had to do. So
You just gotta keep going, you know.
you gotta, yeah,
And one thing I'm hearing from this is like, if it doesn't feel right, don't just
you
stick with it. Like,
Yes,
identify.
change it. I am so heavy on change. I change things all the time, like all the time. I love change. I know some people hate it. And they're like, I like my things just like they are. They don't want, and that's fine too. But I like, if things aren't work, I'm always like, okay, what else can I do? Is there something else? I'm always different methods, I'm always looking at that sort of thing. But especially with your medication and your mental health, your therapy, I think that that is super important. If you're going to take the time to better yourself, like make sure you did the research and you're going to the right person who's going to do that, instead of giving you somebody you go to is going to give you more problems. So,
Truly. Yeah. No.
yeah.
I just found a therapist that I am like wildly obsessed with after a
Yeah.
period of like not having people that really jived with me, you know,
Yeah.
like were helping me. And it makes such a huge difference to find
Yeah.
people who really connect with you and like get you, and you can just talk freely. I like met this woman and it's like, I feel like the hardest thing for people about finding different therapists and changing once you've already established with somebody is like, I already told this person my life story. So what? Now I have to change to a new person and catch
Yeah.
up. And I have just been so happy with this woman because we just got right into it. It was like how I've never experienced that with a therapist before, that she just got me to the extent that
Right.
like we can get the history through the conversations as
Yeah.
you know. I don't
Right.
feel like I have to catch her all the way.
Just
Like
yeah.
she gets it. And that
Right.
for me was just like, oh, I'm like, please go
Finally.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
so good. I'm so glad that you're finding things that work for you too. And I want to ask, like what other kinds of things, are there other things that you do that have been working for you? And I hope you don't mind me bringing this into the conversation. We can always edit it out if you do, but I know you and I have had conversations about how it's like kind of hard to relax.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how's that?
Mhm.
Can you talk about it?
Oh, my relaxation is watching, like, true crime.
Ah,
So,
Amber's got the
yeah,
best
no.
true crime recommendations on the face of the planet.
Wait, do you want some, you said?
Yeah,
Oh,
lay it
girl,
on us.
let's drop the list for the people. Um No, I love true crime, but what sucks is I did see, like, a therapist or something say, like, if you watch true crime to, like, relax yourself and, like, go to bed, like, you have trauma, like, pretty much, like, "Girl, you're messed up."
Like,
I was
uh,
like, "Oh, yeah, you know."
interesting.
Yeah, got me there. But I don't know. I love true crime. I don't know. I don't know why that's relaxing to me, but I do love some good true crime. Um, but honestly, I will say I think we talked about before because I used to have a really, really hard time sleeping. Um, and I would be up all night for hours and hours and hours. But since I have been on medication and went to therapy, I've been sleeping. I really do not, I'll wake up and like go right back to sleep within like 5 or 10 minutes.
I love
So I do not have that insomnia like up all the time like I was. So it has been so nice.
it.
Um,
I
I also was somebody who didn't dream at all, and now I have, like, very vivid, like, dreams, so I don't know if that's, like, I don't know what that is, but that's pretty cool because never really had those, but I feel like that's letting me know that I'm, like, relaxing enough to where I can, like, get into these deep enough sleeps and stuff like that,
I'm obsessed.
but yeah, I mean, I do I'm always doing I'm somebody who, like, can't sit still. So, like, my relaxation is just, like, doing I'll be out in the yard, and then I'll come in and do some art, and then, like, go watch the true crime, go to the thrift. Like, I'm always, like, just finding something to keep myself busy. I think that's my relaxation is just staying busy.
It's a
Um,
relaxing thing,
but
though. I can relate to that.
yeah.
Garden, doing art. I mean,
Yeah.
totally.
So it's like little, yeah, it's relaxing, it's fun. It just listen to some music, go rollerblade, or, like I love going for walks and just like being outside. And being in North Carolina, like we just have really good weather, all the time. Like even now, we can go out, it's 70 degrees. So
Mhm.
it's just been really nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yeah.
hearing that, like, on medication, you're having more vivid dreams. I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of those things that, at least for me, I would be afraid of having, like, dreams go away, That's, like, would one
Right.
of my indicators of, like, "Where am I going? Where am I going? Come back."
Right.
But, like, the fact that that's awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that you're
No,
open
like,
to it too, because some people would be like, "Get me out of these dreams."
yeah, like, I do not want this.
Yeah,
No, I'm like, holy, I mean, they're crazy or whatever, but it's nice because I could never relate to when they're like telling me. I'm like, I've had like 5 dreams from when I was a kid that I like vividly remember because I've only ever had five. Like it was like I just never dreamed. And so now it's just like, I feel like it just clicked like, okay, you're relaxing. Like you are getting a deep sleep. You're like, I don't know. It just feels good. Lets me know like my body is fully relaxed, and that feels good for once. I
I'm so
haven't had any nightmares yet, so maybe it'll change after that, but
I'm so happy for you. I mean, this makes like really, that's so good. You deserve to
yeah.
feel good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we all do. We all need to get it together, do whatever it takes to get our mental health, our bodies feeling good because I feel like we radiate and we do so much more and we do better in our community and everything when we feel good. Like,
Totally. Totally. That's been big on my mind lately, actually, is like, you know, the way that you show up around the people that you love, or even just the people you come into contact with on a day-to-day basis, it makes such a huge difference. Like, if you're radiating, like you said, if you're sending out like positive feelings and love, people can feel that on you.
yep,
Like, you don't even have to
right.
do anything. They can literally feel that coming from you, versus if you're kind of like a storm cloud walking around, they feel that too.
They feel that. Mhm.
And we're living in a world that there's like a lot of really wild storm clouds all around right now. Like, not only
Yeah.
on social media, though social media is a big place that is a little wild to hang out right now, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
I have been I don't know if reassured is the right word, but I feel like when I go out in public, for the most part, I find that people are more like helpful and eager to connect. I don't know. What's I don't even know what my like specific question is here. I wonder what your experience of the world is right now. I know I don't think that you like pay too awful much attention to like the madness
Yeah.
I'm seeing.
I have to like, yeah, I think we talked about it earlier. Sometimes I have to disconnect from certain things because again, if I think about things too much, it gives me really bad anxiety. And I'm trying to steer clear of anything that's, causing me too much of that. But I do like to, still stay informed and like know what, things that are going on. But I will say I don't dive as much into it as some people do, just because I know how I handle certain information. It just ain't good. So, um, yeah, I don't know. There's, it just sucks right now. I feel like the world we're living in it's a little rough. But I've been here for 32 years and definitely have gone through some rough patches. So, and we always get through them. So, it's just taking it one day at a time, like anything else. And I think for me, not diving too much into anything that I can't fully control is the best thing that I can do. I like to again, what are things in my aspect that I can change or do that like will maybe help the situation, but I I'm not um I'm just me, I'm just a girl in Wilmington, North Carolina. So there's not, I can't do everything and I can't stay up with everything all the time, but that's why I just try to do things that make me happy and surround myself with, people that are like-minded like me. And I think that just keeps me afloat.
Mhm. It helps you keeping like making a positive influence in the world by
Right.
pursuing your own well-being. Like I think there's a lot of value in that. And I know it's been high on my mind lately. I have a friend who is constantly telling me about how her algorithm is so nice. Like she only sees things that are like, you know, really good for her. And I'm like, I don't know what my problem is. My algorithm is like
It
true
sucks.
crime. It's like not good. Like, I am seeing, like real footage of from Gaza. I'm seeing like
Yeah.
the news of like the worst of the worst, just like,
Yeah.
and
And I try, you try to you wanna be in touch and you wanna know, like, the things, but also, like, I can't oh my gosh, I can't see this every day because like, it's just, like, this is I can't see it every day. It's just, like, I do care, and, like, I think any normal human being does, but some people it's very extreme and very top of their mind for them, and I understand that, especially when you have family and friends and, like, that sort of thing, especially over there and stuff, but, yeah, it's just, like, certain things like that, like, I will educate myself on it, but, I can't I'm not gonna post about it all the time and, like, do all of that, like some people do, which some people, like, that is how you get your information, and, like, it's nice to see that that stuff is coming through, but, like you said, if you're only seeing that on your feed and you don't get the good and, like, it's hard to, like, get away from that, and for your mental health and that sort of thing, I think we have to have, like, you gotta be seeing good stuff too. You can't just only be on all the negative and the politics and all that stuff, like, you will I'm gonna be curled up in my bed sleeping for the next fucking 10 years if I'm just watching that stuff.
yes.
I can't.
No, I hit a point after everything happened last year, October 7th, and it got really intense there for a few weeks. Like, there was a point where I was like, I either need to like literally get on a plane and go over there, or I need to like stop
Like, yeah.
because like I can do things, I can donate to causes that I'm
Right,
helping, I can like do things that make a difference, but I can't
right.
be living in this constant state of
Yeah,
like hypervigilance, or I don't know if hypervigilance is even the right word, just like, constant
yeah,
stress of that. And I think another thing too is like it's so hard to sort through these days what is like everything is coming at us from a biased lens.
yeah,
We are rarely and it's how could you give every side of a story in a 1 minute or less Facebook or Instagram reel or like a
right.
caption? There's just no way to do that. And like the way we consume information is so limited.
That's what I'm saying, it's like TikTok, it's like you watch on news, whatever, and then it's like people making TikToks, and it's just like these are just regular, and you have to look at it. These are just like regular kids and people who are doing this that are just like getting their information from also some who knows where, like so you can only take so much, I can only dive so much into it before I'm like, okay, I got to take a little break from that.
I do have golden retrievers and like babies and things like scattered throughout my my algorithm as well. So
Yeah.
I'm like maybe I just need to linger on the golden retriever.
Yeah, you need to start liking a couple more of those.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. But I feel like there's something to be said, like not only with our physical presence when we go out and we're like radiating a loving vibe or whatever, but even on social media, I was thinking about this the other day. I imagine that Black Girls Gardening does this for people too. It's like providing sources of positivity for people to tap into, I think can
Yes.
be so impactful. Like it doesn't need to mean that we're being ignorant of the things that are going on. Like we can
Right.
form to the best of our ability, which is really freaking hard to do these days. But
Yep.
just in general, it's hard to find good quality information. It takes so much digging and just I know when I try to research a political issue, for instance, and be like, okay, someone's saying that this happened. All right, let me find the most unbiased news
Right.
outlet. Did they say anything about this? What's the deal? And it's just before I know it, I've spent an hour of my day trying to research
Yeah.
this.
Just trying to find the truth, like, just trying to find some accurate information.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Right.
Yeah, but I digress. I feel like offering people places of positivity so that it's not we're not constantly like these frazzled human beings just kind of
Yeah.
against each other.
Right. Right.
No, is a really positive thing. Do you hear things like that at all from people who are engaging with your content on Black Girls Gardening? I wonder what your experience is around that.
Oh, yeah. I all the time I get messages where people are just like, "I love this page. Like, I love to be able to come on here and see, all of these women in the garden. I love the diversity." Like all the time I get messages where people are like, "Thanks for creating this page. Like, this is so great." And then, of course, you get some people who are like, "Why Black Girls Gardening?" Like, "Why are you doing what about white girls gardening?" And it's like, what I think people don't understand is like creating Black Girls Gardening wasn't to take away from, other gardeners at all, like white, not white. It wasn't like to take away from that. It was just to create more of a space for Black women in the garden. And I'm not sure why people think it would be racist to do that, but I get that all the time still, and it's always a, white older woman, typically, or a man. Um, Typically a woman though, which is fine, but I think the biggest thing that I need to say is like Black Girls Gardening doesn't take away from any other gardener. Like it doesn't creating and having a space where you can see Black women in the garden doesn't mean we don't like white women in the garden or we don't like other gardeners in the garden, like it was specifically just a community. So if you are like me when I was starting out gardening where I just wanted inspiration, a lot of people like to relate to people who are like them. Or, like if I want to see, oh, is that another Black girl who's doing that? Okay, that's something I can do. Like, okay, she's doing it, maybe I can do it. That was the whole vision. It's not saying we are any better or you're less than what this is. Like, it was nothing along those lines. And some people just like to feel like that, that is what it is, which is fine. You can't really change, you can't change how somebody thinks about that. But again, it's just a community to inspire Black women, where they can go and get resources. If you want to find Black gardeners selling seeds, you have that space now. If you want, it's just a space like, BET, it's Black entertainment, they created a television show for it. It's because they wanted a space for Black people, in entertainment. It's not taking away from any other entertainment station. It's just highlighting. So that was the goal. And some people don't love it, which is fine. and then other people love it. So
Is it fine? Is it fine?
I mean, it's fine for the if you wanna feel that I can't change how you feel about it,
Sure.
if that is how they're feeling about it, like, "Oh, that," but all I can say is, like, it's a community. It doesn't take away from your community of gardening at all. It just brings awareness and brings a space for Black gardeners.
Well, and you're also not, like, gatekeeping. You're not like, "Oh, you're white, like, you can't
Yeah, get
buy."
out. We're not accepting you here. Like, what? I'm not doing that. Like, I
No.
have so many like actually the Black Girls Gardening page is very diverse with people who follow it and who I follow and stuff. It's not strictly, like it's for anybody. Like it is really anybody who wants to garden, wants to be inspired by gardening. It's for everybody. It just highlights Black women and mixed women. And, that is it. Like it just is a space I wanted to create where this is what you're going to see when you come here is color. Like, you know, and a lot of people love that and it took really well, but you do have the people who don't see that, which what can you do?
Yeah. It's a little disheartening to me to hear that, like, and I guess it would make sense that as the platform grows, like that continues to be something that you experience, but it just sounds like it's not necessarily lessening the amount that you
No.
receive that.
I mean, I just got that message like last month.
Like, I remember you shared your book on Facebook, or I think it was Facebook,
Yeah.
and somebody commented, why not like white girls or something like
Yeah.
somebody from our hometown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I just like, I don't even remember if you responded. You probably, I don't know.
I probably did.
I don't even remember. But like, I don't know, it just hurts my heart a little bit, a lot of it. Like, I'm sorry that you have to deal with shit like that. It's like
Yeah. I
really.
mean, it still happens and I think that is another reason, and a lot of people don't understand why I created Black Girls Gardening. And when you grow up in Corning, New York, when you grow up in a small town where there is no diversity and you are one of a handful of kids who are of any color, um, it's not until then that you would realize why somebody would want to make something specifically for those people, Um, a lot of the girl when I share stuff on Instagram, and when I'm talking shit because I do that a lot.
I love
People will be like, Amber, Amber, that didn't, I can't believe that happened to you in Corning, like growing up, or like, I can't believe somebody would have said that to you about your hair, or like, and it's like that wasn't that long ago that I was in I mean, it was kind of, but it wasn't that long ago where, like, racist remarks and all of that stuff was, is still going on, and now people refuse to, like, see it still, but I'm like, when I grew up with it not that long ago, and that was a big part of my hometown and my background, and I didn't get to enjoy being Black. I didn't get to do like, I don't didn't know the history of, my culture, my background, like, I didn't like that wasn't taught in school. We had nothing that taught, like, anything like that, and then when you don't even have a community there that, like, you can like, there was really not I mean, I went to church, like, a all-Black church, and that was, like, pretty much the most, community I had growing up, um and so it's not until people realize, like, I am from a very white, non-diverse area, and I got the opportunity when I wanted to garden to make something for people like me. Like, I took it. Like, I took it, and I was like, yeah, I didn't get to love being Black growing up. Like, I didn't. Like, I pushed it to the side. Like, it wasn't something I loved about myself because something you get picked on, for. So, like, to create this and to do this for me was like such a big thing. And I think a lot of people don't understand coming from, when you come from that kind of background, why it's so important to put diversity out there.
Mhm. This is one of my biggest, challenges with that conversation is, I just wish as humans that we could take people's experiences at face value for them. Like, I don't even know if that's the right way to phrase it, but like you said earlier about this, it's like you can't change that that is the experience the person is having. You're not questioning whether or not that's the experience they're having. You're just like, well, that's their experience and this is mine, and that's like that's okay. But I feel like in a lot of these conversations, and it's not just white and black. Like, I'm noticing this a lot in conversations about trans individuals right now, just because of the nature of the world we're living in. It's like, why are people who haven't had that experience, acting like it's invalid, that that experience doesn't exist just because they didn't have it, and B, trying to significantly impact the ways that people are able to express themselves when it's literally something that they've never experienced, does not impact them. Like, it
Mhm.
drives me up a fucking wall.
Oh, I know.
Like, can we just let people live? Like, not that America is, you know, have we ever done the things that
Yeah.
claim to be? Like, no, not
Yeah.
ever, but, like, the land of the free and the home of the brave, it's like, who's free?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
The billionaires?
Yeah.
The
The people with
Buffalo?
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, anyway, I'm that was a hearty ramble, but, like, I don't know. I'm sorry that that's your experience, and,
Yeah.
I appreciate you being willing to come on here and share your experience with me, because, like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm still hearing corning, and I think that's one of the reasons that I like to just give airtime to. It's like there's, like, a part of me that hopes if somebody hears and understands what you've experienced, like, people think that this is a progressive town. Like, I was just talking to a friend yesterday. They were like, "Oh, what are you doing on your podcast interview?" And I told them about you, and I was excited to talk to you about this topic, and along with all of the other things that, like, we're not even gonna get to. There are so many things that I would love to, but it's like, oh, like, Corning seems like such a progressive area, and it's like people have super fucked up experiences here. I don't know.
Like, the worst time of my life.
Yeah.
Worst time, and people will be like, and I understand when somebody is like, "It's such a good place to raise kids and, like, grow up," and, like, I understand that to an extent, but I feel like if you're, like, a white kid, like, if it's, like, a very specific person, if, like, yeah, you will have a great time. But I was in Corning not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago. Um, and I went downtown and stuff, and I was, like, actually surprised at the bit of diversity that I did see there compared to the years prior.
Mhm.
So I will say that I did see a little bit more, like, happen in there, but as far as values and people's mindset, um, hasn't really changed too much in Corning. Even a lot of the friends that I grew up with there, like, um, still talk to and stuff. Just some of the stuff they post and some of the stuff I see, I'm just like, oh God, like, oh God. But, it's also when you grew up there and you know it. Like, it's like when you grow up around something and that's all you know, like, that's all, like, I expect, like, I've hit a place where I'm like, if you're from Corning, you grew up there and, like, your parents grew up there and this is all you know, there's already, like, a type of person I expect, like, as bad as that sounds, but, like, I'm like, I've grown enough to realize that. So it doesn't really affect me as much when I go up there and I have conversations and I talk to people because like the mindset and stuff is like what I expect, when you've never left this town. It's different for people who've moved and gone places or who travel and experience other places, but these are for the people who stay in courting and like this is what they know, this is all they know. They're tough. It's a tough crowd to break. Like, I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is. But I don't know if it's just a small town way of thinking or what.
I feel like people are afraid, like fear is at the core of so much, even when they don't realize it, you know,
Yeah.
like a fear of the unknown and like a fear. I don't think most white people would admit this. Some do, and the ones who do are widely viewed as like awful. I I don't know, but like white people don't are afraid of losing the privilege that they have of being a majority,
Mhm.
you know, which is like I wish that people could be a little bit more honest with themselves about that. Like, I don't know, that's part of why I'm so grateful to have conversations like this. Is like I grew up, I mean, have split time between here and Massachusetts, and I did spend time in Boston, and like I have traveled to different places, like you're saying, and I don't know, I've always felt this like connection and a value of diversity. I just feel like different life experiences, like people experience what they experience, and it all brings something really valuable to the table. And like the more diversity we can get when we're designing a world, like the better that world's going to be for all of us. But
Right.
I just like, I still have spent so much time here. It's like, there's a fear even in me of like fucking up when I'm having a conversation like this of like it's almost inevitable that I will say something that later on is like fuck, like that was
Right.
not the right thing to say. You know, like that was really
Yeah.
bad. And I think I'm getting like a little better at that, but like especially years ago, it's just like there's a fear of that unknown of like, I don't know. You have to make yourself vulnerable to like admit that there's ways of looking in the at the world or experiencing the world that like you haven't uh exposed yourself to or interacted with. I don't know.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's frustrating as it's like, I don't know. I feel like there are people who I have witnessed like shut down from being willing to have these conversations. And that concerns me about the time we're living in. I feel like the people who are really, really rooted in that way of thinking, I fear that like the dynamic that's at large with us right now, like there's like an emboldened, like a validation that's happening of like, we don't need to open our perspectives to these people because
Right.
we won, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't even know when
No,
we
I feel
started
you.
with this. I'm sorry. I feel like I rambled
No,
to a point.
no, you're good.
But I will say too, like I do agree with you. Even in our town, like there is more diversity here that I'm noticing, especially in town. But we
Yeah.
have so many like very rural areas that surround
Yeah.
us. that it's just like you have to actively try to expose yourself to a different way of thinking, or else you're going to find yourself in a very siloed place.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's tough. Corning is a tough little town.
And I feel so you said something about your expectations, right? And it's like you probably just have to do that to have some level of like self-protection so that
Yeah,
when someone says something ignorant, it doesn't
I'm just
stab
like,
you in
okay,
the
that's
freaking
expected.
heart every
Yeah,
single time,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just corn, like these experiences still happen, like even in North Carolina. Not, I've never felt out of place or like anything here in Wilmington. I know it does happen to people, but in these rural towns of North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, it all is just like Corning. So it still is all happening here just as frequent. Me and Kyle went to a restaurant in the mountains 4 hours from where I live, and, the guy asked me if I had been a good little girl, and then he sat us in a separate building of the restaurant where nobody else was sitting and brought our food out there, and it was the most uncomfortable experience of our life, um, and there's been some other places we've gone that I have also felt very uncomfortable just, being there. But it's like those these things still happen to people. And yes, if you are white and if you aren't around like diversity and people of color, you won't know that these things are happening. A lot of my friends in Corning didn't know, when you're friends with me, you're not picking on me, but it's like, so they don't know who's like saying stuff about me or like whatever. And when I'd say it like now as an adult, I'm like, what? Like that happened to you? And it's just like a shock to them. And I'm like, yeah, this probably happened to anybody you knew that wasn't white. Like we all went through this. And so it's just very important to me, like to still like to create that diversity wherever we can. Like it's not about being better than the other in any of that. It's just creating the more diversity and the more different minds, the more different backgrounds, the more culture you can get in an area. I feel like it's just for the better. Like you get so much more knowledge, you get so much more from that than just being around the same person, the same type of people. So that message and putting black in front of girls gardening, was important. Like it is a color thing, and it's just to make people aware that there is still community, there are still Black women gardening, who've been farming, who dedicate this stuff to their communities. So, it's just important that we keep in mind that, diversity isn't a bad thing. It's a very good thing. And it's a good change.
It's not about being exclusive,
Right.
about being
It's not about like kicking a certain person out. It's not about blocking a certain type of person from it's about just creating a community, and everybody is welcome, like it's not excluding anybody, but it's just highlighting. It's highlighting those who didn't get a chance to be highlighted before, and those who I didn't see in the magazines and on the gardener websites and all that stuff. Now there's a place where you can see them.
yeah. I'm so glad that you created a space like that, you know. It's like
Yeah.
you went to Instagram looking for something that you couldn't find and you
Yeah.
created it. I mean, that's supposed to be the American dream,
Yep.
right?
Making it happen.
That's what we say is the
Yeah.
American dream. So
Yeah.
I love that. I'm so glad that you created it.
Yeah. Me too. I am super excited for the book to come out and for people to see it. firsthand, not just on a social media platform, but a physical copy. It's so beautiful. I love it.
It really is so beautiful. I love the cover and everything like that. It's a gorgeous book, and it must feel so excellent to have that hard copy in your hands.
I will say for everybody who's listening, I know you're probably not going to watch it, but I have only been able to open and get to about page 3 without bawling my eyes out. So, I have not even been able to flip through this whole book yet because I can't see after like 3 pages because I'm like, I still can't believe it. So eventually I will get through all of it. But yeah, it's still very unreal for me at this moment, but I'm excited about
It's so gorgeous. I can't wait
it.
to get
Mhm.
my copy. And again, everybody
Uh,
needs to go and pre-order and order. Uh,
yes.
I love it. So I'm like, what else are we, what else do we need to talk about? What's present for you?
Oh, I don't know. Um, I don't know. I'm going into hibernation mode, so you guys probably won't hear from me until about March. Now that it's been getting dark out,
I hear that.
I've been inside. Yeah. No, I am going to be a little low key for the winter, but I will be doing some pop-ups. I think I'm still going to do one in December. I'm going to try to stay pretty active with getting in the community here in Wilmington. Getting out more, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't have a lot going on. I'm the book release. Anybody who wants to come to Wilmington, March 8th, 2025, from 5 to 8 p.m., let me know because I'll be signing books.
So
And yeah, that's really the only event right now that I have going on.
yeah. So I'm hearing the book and the pop-ups, and I'm gonna share like links to stuff in all of the show notes.
Yeah, I'll send you some true crime recommendations.
Yes, we can put those in
Links.
there too. Seriously,
Yeah,
Amber is like my go-to girl for understanding what I need to be watching next when I
yeah,
true crime. I can't spend like too crazy, awfully long. We've talked about this. Like, I
yeah,
reach a point where it's just like, okay, I am literally scared of that man
yeah.
walking down the street. So I need to just
I know.
like,
Yep. I'm so cautious now, but yeah, there's just like some good story ones that aren't too like, you know, detailed about like all of that, but it's just like a good storyline and stuff. So there are a lot of good true crime shows. So I'll definitely give you some recs.
yes, please do. And so I have a little like rapid fire question sort of a vibe that I always do to wrap these interviews up. Are you game?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. So, what is your morning beverage?
Coffee.
How do you take your coffee?
A little bit of milk and a little bit of sugar.
Just a little bit.
How's yours?
It's that's
Yeah.
basically exactly what I've got going on here. And
Yeah.
normally I take it black, but today I wanted a little milk and
A little.
I put a little maple syrup in it actually today.
Oh,
Not every day.
how's that?
It's good. It's like a
Yeah.
sweetness. I don't like things too awfully sweet
Okay.
in terms of my coffee.
Yeah.
So, so it's like a way to get just a little bit of that without going, you know.
Two. Yeah. Nice.
So it sounds like our coffees are similar.
Coffee. Yeah.
How about your happy hour beverage?
Ooh. Um, I've really been on the espresso martinis lately. Used to hate those, but I feel like Sud got me on those for some reason.
Mm.
Um, and I love gin. So honestly, any type of gin drink, I will crush that down.
Your husband makes like incredible cocktails for you all.
Yeah. Yeah. We both like make cocktails, but he'll be like toasting marshmallows and shit. I'm like, all right, I ain't got time for that. I want my drink now.
So sweet.
But yeah, he makes a good drink.
I love that.
Yeah.
How about do you listen to podcasts?
No, actually not really. The only one that I have listened to was like a true crime. It was like a true crime one. I can't remember, but I listened to it on a long drive. But no, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. And I feel like the only reason why I don't is like I like to watch. I like to see things at the same time. So if the podcast, I know a lot of them are just like you put it on and you like drive in or like whatever. But like I said, I like to watch or I like to see um the people or like the stuff in the background sometimes. So I haven't gotten into them that much. And I honestly I don't watch and listen to a lot of I listen to a lot of music. I don't watch a lot of stuff besides true crime and like Animal Planet. Fun fact.
Like these are my questions. So I guess instead of a podcast, what are you watching like shows wise right now?
So Evil Lives Here,
Okay.
which is like a like a, crime type show. That's on HBO, I think,
Okay.
or Max, whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
Um and I Survived a Serial Killer.
Mm, I Survived is so good.
Yeah,
Same
like
style as those, like
yeah,
this kind of like,
yeah.
interview style.
Yep.
I love it.
Um yep, been on those lately. But again, I only really watched like a couple episodes before I go to bed. I'm not a huge like I do not watch TV really throughout the day. Like it's really just at nighttime.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What music are you listening to right now?
I listen to all sorts of stuff. I really love Hot Mulligan, which is like an emo punk band. Which usually isn't my style, but I don't know what it is. Love them. I love Alan Raymond, which is like a grungy rock um kind of vibe. Um, but he's really good. And I love Thames. I love all of her music is like really good. But I will just put on like my Spotify Discover Weekly or like playlist that it creates for me and I try to find I'm always trying to find new music and stuff. I don't really try to listen to too much of the same stuff, but
Nice.
Alan Raymond and Hot Mulligan are probably my top listened artists.
I
And they're both very, very different, and it's like a mood you gotta be in.
dig that. I can't wait to check these guys out. These will all be new music
Yeah.
to me. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's good.
I think that there are like two different types of people must be like the people who do listen to the same things over and over again all the time, and the people who are constantly trying to find like new music
Yeah.
to dive into. I probably
And I mean, I do listen to this because it's hard to find like, it is hard to find, like and I give the song about 10 seconds in the beginning before I'm like, "Next, next." So, like, I'm just, like, skip it through, like, you got 10 seconds to impress me. And so it is difficult, but I also like I can't listen to the same stuff too much or I'll get like sick of it and I just love that music so much. So I try to like and that's why they're both very different so I can like listen to at different times. So yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think because they are very different vibes.
I will definitely check them out and I will certainly let you know. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And so, do you have an alter ego? And do you need me to explain further? Do you like, are you familiar with this concept?
The alter ego. This is like is this the person you become?
Yeah, like a persona almost. Like, have you heard of Beyonce having like a Sasha Fierce? I
Yeah.
feel like there are others that I can never remember. But do you have something that you step into when you need a little umph?
No, not really. I don't think so. I've been maybe before, but like now I'm just like it's me or nothing. Like I'm just like I literally is just like Kyle's always like, "Why are you acting like that?" I'm like, "This is me. This is me, baby." I don't know, So there is no alter ego. It's just me being weird pretty much all the time.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
And last but not least, do you have words to live by?
Ooh, words to live by. No, not really. I mean, no, other than just go for it. Whatever you are thinking you want to do, just do it. It's harder. I think sometimes it's harder to say it than it is to just do it. Like sometimes we just need a push too. I think surrounding yourself with the right community, finding your people and support will give you the push to do it. But yeah, just go for it. I feel like anything you're thinking you thought you couldn't do, you can do it. Because if you would have asked me if I would have wrote a book, I would have said no. If you would have asked me if I'd be making art and selling that most of the time, I would have said no. So there's a lot of things that I look back now and I'm like, "Wow, you know, I can do that." And I think a lot of people can do all the things that they wanna do, it's just they have that fear, like you said, and that's what holds us back, but also, we are all, just people, we're all human, we are all just living and trying to do our best, so just go for it and see what happens.
I love that. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming and talking to me. I
Yeah.
enjoyed this to no end. I am already just like teeming with more questions that I
That's
asked. And I look forward to hopefully having you back sometime.
Yeah, of course. I had so much fun.
Hello, it's me again. Welcome back. I hope you loved that conversation with Amber as much as I did. I had so much fun connecting with her during the interview and listening back. I am just so grateful to her that she came and did this with me. I felt like she was so generous in her vulnerability and sharing, things that people can be a little bit private about. So, like choices around using medication or experiences that she had growing up as a Black woman here in Corning, New York, our shared hometown. I feel so honored to be able to have these conversations with people. And again, I'm just so grateful to Amber that she came and talked to me about these things. I know that both of these topics are going to be explored further as we continue on in this podcast experience, The Morning Slice. I hope that you will follow along to be the first one to know about future episodes. Follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. I would love it if you could leave a review if you've listened and you enjoyed, or hey, even if you didn't, let me know. I would love to hear your feedback and what you enjoy, what you don't, what you would love to hear more of from me. And go buy Amber's book. Now, at the time you're listening to this, it has been released for quite some time. And I will have a link for you to go purchase that book in the show notes. And it's such a beautiful book. I have a copy, and the images are gorgeous. It's just, you're going to want this when you're planning your garden for next year. It's a perfect gift for the holidays. I'm recording this outro on Black Friday, so you'll have it tomorrow. I think it's Small Business Saturday, right? That's the progression of this holiday madness. Well, and I'm gonna let you go and enjoy your holiday season. I would love to hear what you thought of this episode. Again, please leave a review, leave a comment, and always feel free to email me. My email is info@briannamcnerney.com. That'll come right to me. And I love you. If you're here listening still, I appreciate you so very much. And I will talk to you again soon here on the Morning Slice.